Hey guys, welcome back to the garden. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to prepare your garden for a tropical storm. So we have a tropical storm coming in a few days, and this is a semi-common occurrence here in Florida, or if you live on the East Coast, a couple times a year usually we get either a tropical depression, a tropical storm, or a hurricane. And it's a little different than like a rainstorm would be, just because the winds are usually more intense, there's a lot more rain, and it is an extended period. Like, we're not talking like a couple hours where a bad storm might pass through. We're talking about days of almost non-stop winds and rain, and so that can be a lot on your garden if it's not prepared properly. So today we're going to talk about a few things that you should do to prepare your garden for a tropical storm. Tip number one is you want to move all of your baby seedlings indoors, and your small pots as well. So things get blown around a lot in the storm, and all of that wind can really just knock your little baby seedlings down. They're really small, really delicate, so you want to put them indoors where they are protected. Also, since they're going to be indoors for a couple of days, you want to put them near a window. Now, there won't be a ton of sunlight during the tropical storm because it's going to be very cloudy, very stormy, but at least they get some sort of sunlight. If you have grow lights, that's even better. One year I put my plants in the garage because I thought that would be okay for 2 days, and the complete lack of sun for 2 days really took a toll on them. So I would recommend putting them near a window so they at least get some sunlight. Also, keep them away from pets. I put them up in a high window because some plants are toxic to your pets. So if you have pets and you're worried about them eating the plants that you're bringing inside, please put them up and away, or protect them somehow so that they do not get to your pets. Even plants that we may think as being, generally safe, like aloe, can be toxic to pets if it is eaten. And also be aware if there's any leaves falling off your plants, that you don't leave them lying on the floor or anything where one of your pets could consume them. You'll also want to bring any of your small pots inside. Now, these can get easily blown around in the wind. I've had them roll off tables. I have found little pots down in my gutter. Like, they just get blown around in a lot of the wind because they don't have a lot of soil in there. So you'll want to bring your smaller potted plants inside. And if you have any delicate plants that are in larger pots, you'll want to bring them inside as well. Like, if you have a plant that is really not going to withstand the wind and it's in a pot and you're able to bring it indoors, I would bring it indoors. So bring your plants inside if you can. Okay, tip number 2 is remove all projectiles from your yard. I'm talking like hand shovels, gloves, stakes, anything that is small and that you can pick up, the wind may also pick up. I mean, tropical storm winds typically, are not like, lifting up tables and blowing them over, but with every tropical storm, there's always a chance of a tornado, and a tornado could pick those things up, throw them around. There have been, incidents of like pieces of lumber, coming through like windows and stuff. So you just don't want to have anything that can be flying around to be left outside. So take all your small stuff in, take all your, if you have some empty terracotta pots that you're not using, pack that all away, put it inside a container or bring it into your garage. Just take anything small and tuck it away somewhere safe. Step number 3 would be to assess your plants. Now, obviously, if your plants are in ground, you cannot bring them inside. So you have to decide, does my plant need some support? A lot of plants, they're made to bend in the wind and blow and be out in nature. I mean, that's what they're created for. They are in nature, and nature has wind and storms. But some plants are very delicate, and they cannot withstand a big storm. Like, I had a tithonia, the Mexican sunflower, before the last hurricane, and it did not make it. That thing blew over and snapped right in half. It just could not withstand the wind. Versus I've had, other plants that just came through the storm with they just bend and sway with the wind, and everything's fine. So you have to kind of decide, do I need to give this plant some support? Like I'll show you an example here of my pepper plant that I'm going to put some supports on the side just to help it withstand the wind, because I have had peppers snap in the wind, so I want to give him a little bit of support. And then I have like these small baby plants here that they're going to get a little beat up by the wind, but they're pretty flexible, so they're just going to bend over and go with it, so they're going to be fine. And you know, sometimes there's nothing really you can do about that. Fourth tip is to use the storm as a resource. So you're gonna get a ton of rain typically with any kind of tropical storm. So rainwater is so much better than the water that comes out of your hose from the city, okay? Because that water that's you're getting like from your hose, from your sinks, it's treated with stuff. It's treated with chlorine and all kinds of things to make it, you know, more safe for people to, you know, keep bacteria from growing and whatnot. But your plants don't really like it. Like, you know, they'll take it. It's not going to hurt them. That's what you have to do most of the time. But it's not ideal. And what you'll notice is when you're watering your plants every day with like a hose and then you get like a rainstorm, they will just take off when they get that fresh rain because there's no chemicals in it stunting them. They just absolutely love rainwater. So with the storm coming and you're gonna have all this rain coming down, catch the rain. Put some buckets out, put some bins out, put whatever you have to collect this rain, because then you can water your pots with it, you can water your plants with it, so you'll have a resource later on when it's not raining. Number 5, accept the unavoidable. It's a storm. It is an act of nature. There's going to be a lot of wind, there's going to be a lot of rain, and not all of your plants are going to do so great, and some might not make it. And that's just something you have to accept. That is nature. It's just gonna happen. So you kind of just gotta accept that what happens, happens, and you might lose some. You know, the bananas, like the one behind me, I know that its leaves are gonna be shredded completely. It's gonna look terrible. But the plant itself will live. Now, whether that keeps it from producing bananas, I don't know. We'll see. But its next generation will be fine. Sometimes it just happens, so this guy will look pretty beat up in the end, but he'll still be there. And some plants will do that. Some plants will just need some time to recover, and some won't make it. And you kind of just gotta accept that as much as the plants growing in your garden is a part of nature, so are storms, and they come, and you know, so look at the positive and just be like, wow, my garden is getting a ton of rain, and it really will just like explode with life after all that rain. It's gonna suck up all that rain and it's going to absolutely love it. And you know what? I actually have a bonus tip for you. And this one's kind of something that you have to observe in the previous times. So you'll want to look around your yard if you've had a storm before and kind of notice where water pools. If you have an area where water is pooling, you might want to add some more wood chips or something to kind of suck up that water. I have only one area in my yard that pools water, and it happens to be where I planted strawberries, and the excess water completely like drowned the strawberries and just it ended them. They were sitting in a pool of water for a couple days because that's just where it's settled in my yard. I know if it's short term before a storm, sometimes you just don't have time to do this, but maybe this is something you want to keep in mind after this storm that's coming up. And if you notice water is pooling in certain areas, maybe you want to plan for your future garden around those areas that collect water. Alrighty guys, that's it for today's video. I hope these tips were helpful to you, and if you are having a tropical storm affect your area, I hope that you and your family are safe, and yeah, good luck in your garden. Okay guys, until next time, bye.
I never felt tomorrow closing in this fast. Oh, I guess time's in